watch the session again and maybe get a chance to pick up on something they might have missed. He's an active member of the membership committee and is working to kick off and refine a proposed company membership / club sponsorship program. He is involved with the review of the club strategic plan, which will be completed as we move into the final quarter of the current Rotary year. He's also been a key member of the team that has put together the Rotary Rally, the first for our club, which is coming up this coming Saturday at Sisk Park. He's a regular splash route that he handles for the club as well. And he's also been active on the educational STEM projects, going into classrooms and working with children on STEM related projects as part of Don Robbins's team. We are very glad to have Stephen Fair as a club officer and leader of our club. Please join me in congratulating Stephen as our Rotarian of the Month for the month of April. Okay, very good. I'm going to try to share my screen because I also have a couple of announcements that I want to go through, and then we will get into some happy, sad contributions for the current period. But Paul Harris level recognition in the club is very important. And I'm very pleased that we have so many multiple Paul Harris members of our club. And today I want to share a couple of pictures of the two most recent recipients of a Paul Harris pin. For those of you that may not be currently participating or have not reached that first Paul Harris level, I would ask you to please inquire to either myself or Peter Mead about the Paul Harris program and the recognition levels that can be attained. It's something that's vitally important for Rotary and also for our club. So the first one I'm going to try to share, and hopefully this comes through, is Bill McCoach. Bill just recently received his Paul Harris +3 pin. Bill, we took that at the time when I thought the sun was at the right angle, but in looking at this, I think you were pretty well blinded by that. But please join me in congratulating Bill McCoach for receiving his Paul Harris +3 pin. And I'm going to stop that share, and I'm going to get to the next lovely photo here. Hold on. And also receiving a Paul Harris +3 pin this month was Ed Anderson. Ed, congratulations on receiving the Paul Harris +3. Very pleased and proud to have both you and Bill McCoach as members of our club, and we appreciate your contributions to our organization. Lots of different ways you can contribute and earn Paul Harris points, and I'm going to try to share the screen one more time. And hopefully this comes through okay in Palo Verde as well. The annual fund is a key part of the fundraising for Rotary. Money goes into the annual fund, and that principal is held for 3 years, and Rotary enjoys the earnings on that principal for that period of time to help cover club or Rotary International costs. And then after 3 years, that money goes back to the district from where it came from. And then that money is made available through the district for requests from the club for district grants. So we're really making an investment ultimately in ourselves, not just for Rotary International in the near term, but coming back to our club in the longer term. And so very pleased to say that we have just recently passed our goal for the year of $10,000. We hit about 11.4 last year. I'm going to say that we're going to hit at least 12,000 this year between now and the 1st of July. For those of you that are contributing each month to the annual fund, thank you very, very much. Rotary Direct is a very easy way to make contributions monthly, quarterly, however you would like to. And for those of you in the club that write that check once a year, now is the time as we enter the last quarter of the current Rotary year to contribute to our annual fund. Any questions on the annual fund or our Paul Harris level achievements? Okay. I would like at this time to welcome our newest Sergeant at Arms for the club, Kim Rector. Kim, I'm not going to have you make a long speech, but I want to make sure you stand up and maybe get a little bit closer to the camera in the room so that those on the phone can see you as well. Mark Staples has been our Sergeant at Arms, and most of you probably are aware that Mark is moving to Florida. He is not on the call with us today as he is in transit back down to Florida. He may be back and Zoom with us another time or two, but right now, Kim is taking over the responsibilities as Sergeant at Arms for our club. Kim, thank you so much for stepping up into this role. I know you're going to do a great job. Thank you very, very much. Please join me in welcoming Kim as our Sergeant at Arms for the club. Gary Whiting, I know, is nearby. Trust me, I'm assuming the photos are going to be taken appropriately as necessary. Two things that that Kim is initially getting involved with is getting the invocations lined up for the next couple of months. You may have received an email or a phone call from Kim to get on the list to help deliver the invocations. I encourage everybody to take a turn at doing that. With the size of the club, even if only half of us agree to deliver the invocation, which is a pretty low bar when you stop and think about it, we don't even have to do it twice a year, and we've got the entire year covered. The other area that is going to be important, and I'm going to ask for Kim's support, is to provide a greeter when we meet personally in the Palo Verde meeting room. And we're kind of in between right now with a hybrid kickoff, some of us in that room, some of us over Zoom. We'd like to get somebody to kind of coordinate the greeters for the whole year if we could. And until we have that individual identified, Kim has got, I believe, a sign-up sheet or at least a piece of paper that we can get started in the Palo Verde restaurant. If you are interested in being a greeter, please put your name down on that and get there at the beginning of social time. Greet people as they come into our club meetings. I think that's a pretty important part, especially as we have guests and visitors that attend our club meetings. So those are my comments there. Kim, anything else I needed to share? I think she might have sat back down.
John, she said you're fabulous.
Oh, keep lying. I love that. Very good. All right. Next item, would like to maybe a couple of comments on upcoming events. Rotary Rally. I'm going to turn it over to Scott, Stephen, and or Christine there in Palo Verde. We're only 5 days away from the Rotary Rally on the 10th at Sis Park. I think I saw we're up to 40 people attending, but can any one of you want to give an update and any final thoughts or requests?
Yeah, step up to the mic, you two shy people. Mr. Rotarian of the Month, get over here.
Okay. So yeah, this Saturday, meet at Sis Park, right?
Yeah, Sis Park, 8:30 or 9 o'clock.
8:30 start. Yeah, we have 43 people signed up to do it. And it's a fundraiser for Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Hoping there's a lot of guests that are coming that are not Rotary members, so we're hoping to introduce them to Rotary as well. And just a fun social event with Scott doing music for all of us. Woo!
Yay!
He's over here dancing.
Yeah, so basically what we're doing is we're starting at Sis Park, and each team will get an envelope with a clue on where to go here in South Chandler and Sun Lakes. And we're going to be visiting event sponsors. So you'll be going to different businesses and locations around the area. And these are all people that have sponsored our club in some form or fashion.
It's going to be a party. Come join us. Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much. And I believe the wrap up is by 11:30, 12 noon at the latest. Is that correct, Scott, for people that might be planning their weekend out?
Yes, correct. And then the barbecue follows at John Lyon's house.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Nobody could hear that. Okay, we're going to shift gears to our next upcoming item, and that is 1 week from today. There is an afternoon meeting of our Rotary Club on the 13th. District Governor Elizabeth Mahoney is using that meeting as her club visit for the year. It is with deep regret that she is not able to attend in person. We kept delaying and delaying the date by which she wanted to visit our club in hopes that we could all be in the room at the same time. Unfortunately, as her schedule filled up and as we are just now crossing over into the hybrid environment, we've selected a date. But the very difficult news is Rotary International has made a very hard and fast rule at the district governor level on up. Nobody in Rotary is allowed any in-person visitations until July 1st and the new Rotary year kicks off. So Elizabeth is going to have to conduct her remaining club visits this year via Zoom. And so we will all be on Zoom next Tuesday afternoon, but I encourage you to please join. Let's hear from our district governor as she gives us feedback as what's happening at both the international as well as the district level. Probably make some comments about the upcoming year going forward under District Governor-elect Brett McKean. And so please mark your calendars for next Tuesday for District Governor Elizabeth Mahoney's visit to our club. Again, that will be a Zoom meeting, 4:30 social time, 5 p.m. club meeting. April 20th is a morning meeting 2 weeks from today. And the highlighter on that event is going to be our four-way speech contest. Bill McCoach has done an outstanding job coordinating with various schools and the participants that will be doing the four-way test. We will have some debrief following this meeting as to whether we want to try to do a hybrid meeting for that or we want to all be on Zoom. The students themselves will not be coming to any in-person meeting. They will be Zooming from either home or at their school. And so it's going to run pretty much the full 1 hour between the students making their presentation to us with 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes max in between, where we will handle some club announcements, etc. Bill McCoach, anything else that you can add to the group or that the group needs to be aware of?
That's pretty much it. You and I will have to discuss if we want to start the meeting a fraction early or not. Also, just to let everyone know, DG Elizabeth Mahoney will also be attending that meeting on Zoom as a judge.
Excellent.
As well as on the screen today, I see Maureen Alger, she'll be a judge also.
Very good.
So she'll give she has the New Jersey influence on the voting.
I'm not going to get into any election protocols. My year has been filled with way too much news in that direction. Having said that, Maureen, Bill, and everyone involved with the four-way speech contest program, thank you for the work that you have done and looking forward to that coming up on April the 20th. April the 22nd, it's a Thursday. What the heck are we doing meeting on a Thursday? Well, April the 22nd is Earth Day, and it is also falls in the week of Rotary service across the state of Arizona. I'm going to ask either Judy to come off of mute from home or Marge Wright there in the room. Do you want to just mention a few words about our upcoming celebration of our tree planting at Snedeker Park on the 22nd?
I'll let Marge handle it because she is the chairman of that event, but it is a statewide Rotarian at Work and Peace tree that we're planting, and it's just going to be a marvelous ceremony to shovel in a little bit of dirt. Here's some really outstanding speakers from the district, from the city, from the state. So it's going to be quite an event. Marge?
Morning. Morning, everyone. Thank you for appearing at this hybrid meeting. It's just great here. We're actually seeing live people in person. It's a terrific idea. Anyway, another thank you to all the people who so kindly said yes when I asked them if they would do something. And would you believe we have over 30, possibly 40 people that are doing things for this event? So I'm just, nobody has said no, or maybe they've just said yes. And it's pretty hard to beat a record like that. We're going to have a preparation meeting to make sure nothing's falling between the cracks. And that'll be this Thursday at 4 o'clock. That gives us lots of time if something's wrong to right it by the 22nd. So I'll be sending out emails saying, hey, show up by 4 o'clock Thursday if you can. If not, then I'll arrange to meet with you personally if necessary. We're really lucky. From my perspective, one of the highlights, it shows our commitment to the coming generation in what we do in community service and with the tree planting and with Earth Day. We're going to have about 12 or 13 little 5 and 6 year olds there. And besides doing 2 little songs for us, they're making something very special for everybody, and they will be giving it to you. And I'm sure you'll get a kick out of it. The other thing is they're all wearing green shirts, and Rotary paid for it. Our club is paying for it. We're sponsoring them. And it's just a great idea to, thanks to Maureen, to partner with them. We're going to have a shovel ceremony, and standing up there will be our mighty president, Judy, and then 2 little kids together holding a shovel. Bill Schenck said, so are you going to give them each a little shovel? And the answer is no. I think he was being facetious. We're going to have Nancy Van Pelt, last year's district governor, who's head of the peace movement, and Terry Kimball, and also our state rep, Jennifer Pollock. So do come. It's going to be action-packed, and it's going to move fast. We'll be out of there in a flash. Take care.
Thank you, Marge. And Judy.
Can we touch on the date, time, and location?
Absolutely, Bill. Good point. So the date, again, Thursday, the 22nd of April. It is scheduled to be from 3:15 to 3:45 on Thursday afternoon. So it will be a little bit warm. We're going to have plenty of cold water. We'll have our canopy out there. I think we've got 50 or 60 chairs that are going to be set up so that if people want to sit down, all of the speakers are being given about a 90-second to 2-minute window only. We'll keep this moving very, very quickly because it's all about the feel good and the celebration of planting this tree. There is one thing that I will point out now. We're going to have a nice little plaque courtesy of the City of Chandler tree planting program at the base of the tree. There are a lot of things that were impacted in terms of supply chains during COVID. And one of those supply chains was the company that actually provides these plaques. So on the 22nd, the tree will be there. The plaque will not. The plaque is probably coming in at about another 4 or 5 weeks. We'll be sure to get some pictures of it. And everybody will be familiar that is able to attend the exact location at Snedeker Park East. Not very far from us. Maps will be distributed. Areas will be identified on where to park. It's going to be a great time. And I appreciate all of the effort that has gone into this. And I feel very good about our club's response to what we are doing during Arizona Rotary Week of Service. Last item that I have today that I would like to cover is our May 4th meeting coming up. First meeting of May will be a morning meeting. Educator of the Year. Maureen and I have not spoken yet as to whether that will be hybrid or Zoom only. I would love it to be a hybrid, and candidly a hybrid with even much greater participation in the room, so long as protocols allow it and people are comfortable in doing that. But May the 4th, we will announce our Educator of the Year winner. Maureen, we're still on schedule for that?
Yeah, yes, but we won't announce the winner that day. That
Oh.
day they'll make their presentations, then we'll confer as a team, and then we'll announce the winner that
Okay.
week after. But yes, the presentations will be that day. There'll be 4, and I guess you and I will have to decide how that's going to play. I don't know if I think it would probably be better, just like with the kids, if we had it on Zoom, and then
Okay.
everybody could see.
Well, if Zoom is working well at the Palo Verde location, and the feedback from the people that attended in Palo Verde was this was great. We could hear okay, we could see okay. I'm fine with having a meeting there with participants speaking in via Zoom. We just need to make sure that we've got all of our audio and visual technology working appropriately so that it's a positive experience for both the presenters as well as the audience.
Agreed. And either they know to expect either. So whatever works, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Okay, and I know we're going to have some feedback based on how today's session went, and we'll continue to sharpen our tools, if you will, when it comes to hybrid meetings. Okay, with that, Elizabeth has joined us, I think, from New York. Is that correct, Elizabeth?
Just outside New York, in New Jersey. But
Oh.
yes, this is actually a picture of the lounge space in my New York office, so I feel a little connected.
Looks very nice. I want to thank you and Michelle so much for being here. I'm actually going to turn over to Bill McCoach, who is going to introduce both of you more formally as our speakers of the day. Do either of you need to share a screen, or are you basically just chatting?
No, yes, please, John. Definitely share a screen with both of us. Thank you.
Okay, very good. And Bill, over to you. And if I could ask everybody to mute their phones, please, that would be terrific. Thank you.
Okay, and just to touch on the last meeting of the month, April 27th, we will have a survivor of the Holocaust as our guest speaker. Details are being worked out, so that should be pretty good. Okay, today we have 2 speakers that will highlight the Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Foundation, Michelle Tennant Nicholson and Elizabeth Capiones. Did I pronounce it close correctly? Capiones?
Very close, yes.
Okay. Michelle is the Chief Creative Officer of Wasabi Publicity in North Carolina. Good Morning America producer Mabel Chan calls Michelle a 5-star publicist. Michelle holds a bachelor's in fine arts and a master's in human development. She has written award-winning children's curriculum and helped launch an educational TV network. She's either spinning stories or spinning at the gym. After hours, she savors the Smoky Mountains, her Siberian Husky, backyard chickens, and most importantly, her husband. Also presenting today is Elizabeth Capiones, a director of the Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day and the chair of its advisory board. Elizabeth is the director of knowledge management in the United States for DLA Piper, a global law firm. In this role, she creates and implements knowledge management strategies and programs for attorneys to help optimize the practice and business of law, including by using technology and innovative solutions. Before she started focusing on knowledge management in 2013, she practiced corporate law for over 15 years at law firms in New York, London, and Abu Dhabi. She holds a JD from Columbia Law School, a BA from Drew University, and a candidate in law degree from the Catholic University of Louvain. Let's give Michelle Tennant Nicholson and Elizabeth Capiones a warm welcome.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to start for us. I just want to tell you a little bit of my personal story with the foundation. So many years ago, Wasabi Publicity represented the Ms. Foundation. And when the Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day was actually at the Ms. Foundation, that was the first time that we represented the program. It needed its own foundation and eventually went to Carolyn McEwen, who is actually in North Carolina as well on the coast. And she has been overseeing it since. So I just want to tell a little bit about that background personally, because the one of the things that's really surprising is that we've all heard about Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day, right? We've heard about it, somebody at school, or we're watching a movie or a sitcom and somebody cracks a joke about it and so forth. And you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of fun. But what is it? How did it start? You know, what's it all about? And so at the core, and I'll answer questions and we'll show you the resources, and Elizabeth's going to talk to you about, you know, how it's structured today. And I put the resource in the chat room for those of you who are on Zoom. For those of you who are having lunch together, you can go look at it later at daughtersandsonstowork.org. And I'll also be showing you a short video, and hopefully everybody can hear it okay. But before we get to that, let me tell you the story. Through the years, what's really been at the heart of it, as a former teacher myself, like Maureen is a teacher that's with us today. It's really important that children connect their schoolwork with a future life, a future career. Regardless of the limitations that these children may be facing in their lifetime, it's important that they understand, hey, I could have this type of career, and understand what I'm doing in school is connected to my future career. And at the heart of what the originators really conceived of for Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day, that was it. You know, if you could just think back for yourselves when you were a student and you're like, why do I have to learn algebra? Or why do I have to learn this science or this kind of stuff? The purpose of actually having adults, mentors, parents, teachers actually share real life career experiences with children. Originally it was daughters. And then in 2003, it expanded to include boys. The purpose really is that they have these rich experiences to talk back in the schoolroom about, hey, you know, I saw my dad go do this at his job, or my mom do this, or my aunt, my uncle, blah, blah, blah. And I've got questions about this in the classroom. So at the heart of it, it's really that simple. And it's always the fourth Thursday of every year. And through the years, that have been different themes. So let's just take a little walk to some of the themes. So early on, it was pretty simple. It was things like plant a seed, grow a future, which I think is kind of fun because you all were talking about planting trees as part of your service work. And my father, may he rest in peace, that was his big thing, right? Always planting seed, like literally trees, like let's go plant a tree. And so I love that that was very simple, you know, back in the day. Just a few years ago, Count on Me was a theme for 1 year. And right before the pandemic, it was sparking aha moments and workplace superstars. So that's a flavor of some of the themes that we've had. And what this does is it actually stimulates all the corporations, all the communities, all the schools who participate. And there are millions. So in the 2018, I think we took a survey, and it was something like 37 million. I think just recently, we even counted something like 40 million. It is very difficult to say for sure, because it's so ubiquitous inside our culture. So it's something that, you know, I don't think that people even really think of it as an actual foundation where you can sponsor, you can give money, you can really propel this mission forward. I think most people just go, oh, it's a holiday, and that we're doing that. But there's really a robust program that goes beyond, hey, let's just have a conversation about your future career, little one. And we've got many, many testimonials from people who are now adults who specifically chose their career out of these experiences. So these are meaningful. And I think a long-term vision, and Elizabeth will speak about the specific day that we have in the pandemic, that's really just kind of made us, our theme this year is boldly moving forward. And I just love that because it's really caused everything to shift. You know, right when the pandemic started last year, I remember Carolyn called me and she said, oh my goodness, you know, because the pandemic really hit hold in March, right? Remember St. Patrick's Day of last year. So then by the time everybody was really queued up for doing Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day, and a lot of the large corporations love to participate inside their family-friendly agendas for their students. So one of the things that I think is really important is that as these corporations take hold, well, how can they actually participate? So we're going to let Elizabeth talk about that right after I show this. Let me see if I can share my screen. So what I do for the foundation is I have been doing pro bono publicity for them for years. And so this is an online press kit. You can see here that this is one of the PSAs from 2017, and the theme was Count on Me. This is a little fun. Can everybody see it? Okay, John, can you see this all right? Okay, great. And then this was the Plant a Seed, Grow a Future. You can see the evolution through the years as well. And of course, to today, a very robust, beautiful website where we're even counting down the days, 15 days, 15 hours, 22 minutes, and 12 seconds. But let's go back to this. And we're going to just try to get, let me just start it again. Hold on, let me optimize to make sure that you all can hear in our lunchroom, okay? Okay, so first of all, can everybody see a gentleman on a giraffe?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, okay. Let's see if you can hear this. So what's fun about that is that it's we're really leaning into the fact that we're virtual this year, and we have, for the first time ever, a virtual lineup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's going to do a little bit of a presentation. And then if there are questions, then I can field questions after she talks a little bit about what we're planning for this year, and we can get a little more into the history. I know that Elizabeth has other obligations too, so I just want to make sure she has ample opportunity. Elizabeth, can you share your screen and take it over for a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you everybody so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to showcase what we've been working on here. We really hope that this will be helpful information for you to help us share this event. And as Michelle said, this was a big pivot. We have supported Acre Daughters and Sons to Work days, obviously in numerous ways over many years now, almost 3 decades. But this is the first time that we're putting together an actual virtual program with the content through our sponsors, through our own volunteers and collaborators, and we're very excited about it. So why don't I start also with a little bit of background on how I got involved. I became a director of the board about 2.5 years ago now, because I have 2 young children. I'm interested in this topic. I also had heard about it and didn't really know that much about the foundation, and I wanted to be a part of this. And one of the main goals that I'd had, and that I think the board had been discussing as well, is to try to find ways to be more inclusive in how we could get more kids involved in this. Because as wonderful as the program has been, it usually required a child to actually have a parent or a family member or a neighbor or a friend of the family to be able to take them to their work, whatever that work was. Plus, on top of that, it was usually limited by geographic location. I mean, a kid in the city who wants to see what a farmer does is going to have a hard time finding that, and vice versa. A kid in a rural area who wants to see what an investment banker does is going to have a hard time getting into Goldman Sachs. So one of the things that we were trying to work through in the future programs at the time was trying to find ways to make this more inclusive, and going virtual to some extent was part of the list of options. And then, of course, as Michelle mentioned, the pandemic hit last year. That meant that it was too short of a pivot time to actually be able to do something significant virtually. Plus, there was just not enough safety precautions in place in order to really support the regular day. So we started planning. In the beginning, I would say, of the fall, we started planning what we could do. And we figured we would take this opportunity to really just create a virtual program that allowed people from anywhere to participate, regardless of where their parents worked and regardless of where they were, whether they were actually in school or homeschooled, virtual, in person. The idea was that this would make it much more accessible to a much larger group of kids. And so we came up with a program, and we discussed a lot of different elements of the program. We also did a survey of past participants. And we tried to get a little bit of a sense of what kinds of jobs and careers they would be interested in. We did our own homework. We discussed length. We discussed content, ways to make it interactive, because we are talking about kids here, and we're talking about a program that's going to last a few hours long. And so what we came up with is a format that we're very excited about. And why don't I start sharing my screen now? Because I want to walk you through it, through the website that Michelle mentioned. We have redesigned and updated, and hopefully everybody can see it. Yep, thank you, John. So this is our website. We are counting down, but we also have a lot of really cool news items up here that we're highlighting for our event. And I can go through this a little bit more in a minute, but first I'm going to take you to the actual event page. So the 2021 event here describes what we're doing, and then describes in a little bit more detail about what our virtual career adventure is going to look like. And what we ended up with is a 2.5-hour program that we're going to repeat twice. One at 9 o'clock Eastern and one at noon Eastern. That was in part because some of the companies that have participated in the past indicated, of course, that they have people all over the country, and 6 a.m. for Pacific Coast people is going to be a little early. So I know you guys are early risers, but not everybody would. And we wanted to make sure we could hit as many people as possible. And by doing it a little bit earlier on the day in the Eastern side, we might actually be able to get some people in Europe involved as well, to the extent that they were interested. So it's going to be 2.5 hours at those times. Then we wanted to have it be a program that was interesting and exciting and had some live components, but we had to be realistic about what we could handle for this kind of program. So we focused on having a live host, a moderator that would walk the kids through the entire program, and then a keynote speaker in the beginning. And then the rest of the content is going to be videos of various kinds, but the host is actually going to walk the kids through questions and quizzes and polls to keep it interactive. And so for our first program, we were so excited to get Gloria Steinem, who is obviously a very well-known person, but also a longtime champion of Todas Day, to be our keynote speaker. And she actually would prefer to have a conversation. So we actually are asking people to submit questions for her that she can answer during that live component, the first part of our first program. And then for the noon program, we were also very happy to get Gitanjali Rao. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's this amazing 15-year-old scientist, and she's the first ever Time Magazine Kid of the Year. But before that, she had been doing several inventions focusing on everything from lead detection to cyberbullying. And she's just amazing. She does workshops and innovation shops for people throughout the world. In fact, I think she has 3 other events on our day. So we were very excited to get her. And so she's just a wonderful role model, a very excited person who loves STEM. And so we're happy that she's going to participate as well. And while she's going to have an actual address, she's also going to try to answer some questions. So that's another person you can ask questions of. So once the program kicks off with our hosts and our live guests, we're basically going to walk through 5 main career clusters. And we picked these based on our own review of what we thought would be a good mix, and also based on the survey results. And the 5 clusters are STEM, they are arts and communications, health science, marketing, and business. And so now I'd like to walk you through our actual schedule, because you'll see what we're doing here. It's covering things. Okay, hopefully you can see the 2021 virtual event schedule pop up. Okay, thanks, John. For each of our 5 clusters, we are going to show an overview and then 3 videos showing 3 different jobs within that cluster. And throughout, the host will talk through what these jobs do, what they are, ask questions, try to keep the kids engaged. And then for 3 of the segments, we have a special presentation as well. So this is the introduction that I just described to you. The first one is STEM. And so you can see here yourself what kind of jobs we're fixing. But then for that one, we actually have an arrangement with Steve Spangler, who you might know as very well-known scientist with his own programs and shows online. And we're going to actually show a couple of snippets of one of his newest videos. So that's super excited. It's focused on magic and science. The next one is arts, AV, and communications. We tried to pick jobs that would be of interest to our kids, but at the same time, a variety of the range that a cluster represents. And so here, for example, we have a video game animator, but also a photographer and an author. And in general, while we were picking these videos and these jobs, we really paid close attention to diversity, equity, and inclusion. DEI is a big component of what we're doing here. And by picking people that represent different groups in different jobs, not always the typical ones, we're hoping to highlight that. But we also will actually have a video kind of describing what it means and why it's important down the program as well. The third segment is health science. And here we have, again, a couple of different jobs at different levels, because that's the other thing that we try to include. Not just always require a college degree or an advanced degree, but also a few things that would be fine with a high school degree or an associate's degree, or things where you can build up over time, because we want to make this as wide of a scope as possible. But then at the end of the health science segment, we're actually very excited that the EPA provided us with a scientist who's wonderful. And she's been working on research focused on contaminants and applying it to the COVID pandemic. So it seems very relevant. It's very cool. She has some great snapshots of things in the lab and places that she's working. And so we're very excited to have her there as well. The next section is marketing, as I mentioned. A couple of different options here. And then the last one is our business and administration career cluster. And here again, we came up with a couple of different things that we thought would be helpful. And we added another special presentation from one of our sponsors, Lord Abbott, who came up with money tips for kids, kind of different ways that you can think about money, saving, spending, what, how, and the fact that ultimately it's really about investing in yourself. So that is the program with the 5 clusters. And then we'll just have a conclusion and a wrap up at the end of it. So we're super excited about this. What we've also done, and I'm going to go back to the program here now, is created materials to support all of these events. And so these can be downloaded in advance, or they can be downloaded after the event, and people will be able to actually work on these. And we call them a passport to your future. So the kids can download these, and each segment will have its own portion of it, where there's fun activities for them to participate in. And we were able to get translations of the passport into 5 additional languages. Obviously, in the United States, we want to make sure we had Spanish, but we also we're trying to be global. So we have Chinese, Korean, French, and Dutch as well. So we roped in our family and friends, and we got lots of translations done here. And then related to that, we also have the passport activity guide, which is focused on the grown-ups involved in this, the parents, the educators, the workplace coordinators. So it gives them a little bit more background on things to do and keeping kids engaged. And then after the event, for a week long, we have our amazing sponsor and partner, Virtual Job Shadow, who's providing all of these videos on the jobs and the overviews. They're going to keep those videos available for another week afterwards. So if somebody couldn't see the whole program or any of the program, they'll still be able to actually go and watch those videos themselves for a whole week afterwards. And we're going to try to make a bit of other content available too. So that's really what we're doing this year. As you can see, it's a very big shift from what we've done before. It's a huge and ambitious undertaking. And we'd love to get more and more people aware of it and familiar with it and then participate in it, because ultimately, even once the pandemic is over, we really hope that the virtual component can continue to be a part of this program, because we really think that the reach will be much more expanded through the virtual component. And hopefully we can also still do in person, but it would be nice to find ways to complement each other. So that's my my intro. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
That's my overview. And as Michelle said, we're happy to answer any questions.
Yes, and Elizabeth, before we get to the questions, why don't you let me share the screen now, and I'm just going to augment what Elizabeth was showing you. Is what's exciting is these partnerships that the foundation is able to forge ahead for the children's future. So I'm just going to give you a taste of some of these extraordinary videos that this year's partner, Virtual Job Shadow, has afforded us. And they're just like 30, 40 seconds each. And so we'll just go ahead and do 1 or 2. Let me just share this with you. Everybody can see Street?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Cyber threat, any type of cyber threat. When you know what's happening and you're able to stop it from happening, I can feel confident that your users, your students, they're safe. My name is Daryl Carter. My job title is Information Security Administrator. I work for the Technical College System of Georgia in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been an IT professional 20 plus years now. Anyone that wants to be a cybersecurity professional, you have to have the propensity to always want to learn. I am reading every day, whether I want to or not, because the technology is constantly changing. What I'm defending against today has multiplied 3 times by tomorrow. This is one of the most dynamic fields in technology right now, is security.
All right, so that's, one example, and then we'll just do one quick one, another one. I know, let's do a public relations coordinator. No bias there. Let's try that one. So, and you can see more of these at virtualjobshadow.com. It's linked inside our partners at the website.
We have a variety of fish and invertebrates. We have marine mammals, sea otters, sea lions, harbor seals, and then you can find tufted puffins, rhinoceros auklets, a bunch of really cool seabirds that normally you would never really be able to see unless you came to an aquarium like this. My name is Sally Compton, and I'm the Public Relations Coordinator for the Oregon Coast Aquarium here in beautiful coastal Newport, Oregon. I would say the aquarium provides entertainment. Families come, students come. We serve as this resource for people to see all these animals up close and really get to have an experience with them.
So, and as a former teacher, and Maureen can actually back me up on this, you're always looking for great content to also bring into the classroom to make your measures that the state gives you and that your superintendent is actually giving you. And so this gives a really rich curriculum. So are there any questions for Elizabeth and myself? I know that we only have a few minutes before John has to take it back. Bill?
The virtual event sounds amazing. Is it geared toward any specific age range? Because as an example, Maureen Alger has first grade class, and there might be high school students who want to attend.
Right. In general, the day itself was sort of focused on 8 to 18-year-olds. For the virtual event, I think probably the target group is 4th through 8th graders, so about 10 through 15-year-olds, but it is absolutely appropriate for others. It's just that we think that they will probably get the most out of it. And in terms of the materials specifically are geared towards more that age group. But the videos are appropriate for the older and the younger kids, and certainly with some participation of a parent, for example, or a teacher, even younger kids could certainly participate in those materials in the passport.
And you'll see here that on the website itself, there's some activity guides from past years where we have different types of activities for different age ranges for all teachers.
Great content. Any other questions? And if there's someone in the room that has a question, they're going to need to approach the mic. If you're on the Zoom call and you want to raise your hand, that's fine as well. I would just like to share that having taken my daughter to work back in the mid-90s, to have content available and to have such wonderful tools, what a huge step forward. I participated 25 years ago, but candidly lacked some of the structure and content that is available through programs like this. So what a huge step forward. Thank you for all you are doing.
Well, John, you're welcome. And, I am a publicist, so I just heard a new story idea. I could pitch you to the local press and get a little love for the Rotary Club and the day, if you would be willing to tell your personal story with your daughter.
I would be happy to.
Oh, perfect.
We'll figure out a way to link up following this.
All right, I'll follow up with Bill. That's lovely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
That would be excellent. And to that point, John, we would love to get more people to participate, both the companies and the schools. And I know that you're very involved on the educational side with your Educator of the Year award, etc. So if you have any other connections or groups or contacts where you think on the school side that they might be interested in learning about this as well, please let us know, or feel free to send the information to them, because we'd love to get a little bit more exposure about this whole new approach to the program.
And I want to extend that to all the Rotary clubs that you're affiliated with. If there's standout background stories, those are local tie-ins that the local press, which would then highlight the Rotary clubs individually. And Bill has my contact information and Elizabeth's contact information if you'd like to follow up on that. And we really appreciate being with you here today.
Fantastic. Well, everyone, please join me in thanking both Elizabeth and Michelle for their time today. Great presentation. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
For the last 5 minutes if you want to. And if you need to get to that next appointment, I fully understand.
I never got that coffee, so I'm going to go get that. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Okay, we are going to do a real quick lightning round on happy, sad. If anybody in the room would like to share, they're going to need to approach the mic. I think Kim Rector has a basket. If somebody wants to do it the old fashioned way and put some money in, candidly, we're able to record you and bill you at the end of the month. So I think we have a very young Rotarian in the making on the screen. I can't tell if that's maybe he's holding a $50 or $100 bill, but maybe somebody can help with that narration. Whose child is this? Oh, somebody's on mute. Well, the video part worked. I'm not so sure the audio did. I think that might have been Christine's newest and first grandchild, if I'm not mistaken. Cannot hear the room. It's on mute, so I'm sorry for whatever you're saying. Okay, anybody on the phone have any happy, sad for today? Oh, we got lots of feedback.
Sorry. Okay. So go ahead and talk.
Gotta mute one of the two. Go ahead. Having some troubles. I'm sorry, Scott.
Yeah, okay. Let me come back to you.
Okay, very good. Anybody else on the phone? Happy, sad for today?
Of course, there it is.
Can't hear Christine. I'm sorry. We cannot hear any of the dialogue in the room. So here's my suggestion. I would love to, and I'll do anything on the phone here, but we're probably going to have to wrap up. This is one of those audio things we're going to have to figure out how to solve to do.
Sorry, people.
Anything else to share on the phone today? Maureen, you got a hand up or just adjusted the camera? Okay. All right. Well, for those of you that zoomed in, we're just coming up at 8 o'clock. I just want to acknowledge and thank all of the people that came at 5:30, 5:45 to Palo Verde today to help with the setup and to allow this first hybrid meeting to take place. I appreciate all the work that has been done. We will learn from this, and if you have suggestions or input that you think will make this experience better, please let me know and provide that feedback. We will resume Happy Sad next week at our Zoom only meeting in the afternoon. In the meantime, I wish everybody a very safe week. Thank you so much. Scott, I'll hang on for a while here.